Hey guys, it's Upa here. So it's Tuesday and that means they have announced the new hero coming out on Friday, a regular legendary hero, and let's take a look at it together. So we have CADRIAN over here, Doom Legion, attack type and red mark. Look kind of reminds me of Oakmin. If you search in the hero gallery, he's kind of like another demon looking character. Very fitting for Doom Legion definitely. And let's see what he does. So poison type. So for his basic attack, he just does single target damage with a 100% chance to inflict poison. On his special 2, grants all allies poison up for 2 turns, afterwards dealing poison damage to a single enemy once again, and 100% chance to inflict poison as well. For his passive, for every 10 layers of poison inflicted by any ally, CADRIAN gains 1 layer of Evil Hex, which increases his poison damage dealt up to 3.6%, up to 20 layers, and this means that it goes up to 72%, which is pretty high. And when an enemy turn ends, inflict severe ulcer on them, which increases poison damage taken by 10% for 2 turns, stacking up to 5 layers. So enemy damage, poison damage taken up to 50%, and then his own poison damage up by up to 72%. These are really strong, and don't forget this is just the base kit without exclusives, so looking very good so far. Grants all allies Resolute 2, which is skill damage 2, which is skill damage plus 40%. Afterwards, deal 4 stages of poison damage to a single enemy, and each stage has a chance to inflict poison for 2 turns, so 100% chance actually, so guaranteed. And the 4th stage also inflicts stun, which cannot be removed on the target for 1 turn. Now for his exclusives. For every 1% of initial mastery owned by CADRIAN, he gains additional effect hit up to 100%. This is very similar to Giselle, and it seems that at 200% mastery, he can gain 100% effect hit, so lower requirements than Giselle. Each stage of Rain of Toxic Spears, which is his special 4, removes 1 layer of buff from the target and inflicts 1 layer of Severe Ulcer. Severe Ulcer, once again, is his passive. And then when an enemy gains Indomitable, CADRIAN cleanses all debuffs from self and acts 1 extra turn. So Indomitable is reduced damage over time damage taken by up to 40%, and this is a buff which characters like Elise gives the team. And then for exclusive 2, each layer of Evil Hex additionally increases mastery by 10%. So Evil Hex was his passive, so it buffs his passive by up to 200% alongside the 72% poison damage up. And when CADRIAN casts active skills proactively, for every 5 layers of Evil Hex owned by himself, reduces skill cooldown by 1 turn, and when this is stacked to the max layers, cast Poisonous Rolling Thunder 1 more time when casting Rain of Toxic Spears proactively. So when he has max stacks of Evil Hex, whenever he uses his special 4, he will also at the same time pursue an attack using his special 2. At the beginning of each wave, CADRIAN gains Demonic Barrier before the first turn ends, which makes him immune to control effects and turn meter reduction. So, really strong character so far in both PvP and PvE. I have a few thoughts, but let's cover the last exclusive before we talk about it. So Poisonous Rolling Thunder and Rain of Toxic Spears additionally trigger poison once, up to 6 layers can be triggered. At the beginning of each wave, grants Power of Devil at the end of the owner's turns, restoring all allies' HP by 200% of CADRIAN's attack, and cleanses 3 layers of damage over time debuffs from them to allies with the control tag for 2 turns. Besides, for every 1 ally with the control tag deployed, also reduces the owner's basic attack damage and skill damage taken by 24%. So this can go up to a really high amount if that's the case. 24 times 5, so that's very close to 125%. I think it goes up to 120%. That's really, really strong. When 5 allies with the control tag are deployed, the following effects can be triggered once during each wave. When an ally's HP is below 10%, they only take 1 point of damage from this damage this time. Afterwards, CADRIAN cleanses all debuffs from allies and grants them Power of Devil, which is this heal over here. So, this character looks to be extremely strong, not just as an attacker, but just as a general supporter, improving your team's damage and even providing heals to your team, reducing damage taken. And this is a character which I think, at least on paper, looks to be LTE level, right? Obviously, he is not a limited time hero. I think we can expect a new limited time hero to come out on the banner after this, which would be around late August. But similar to when Kalana was released, this just seems like a character which does like almost everything and seems to have a lot of potential. So let's talk about maybe his damage first. So maybe one downside is that it's single target damage, although I feel that this isn't too big of a deal, especially in PvE, where most of the places where we're looking for increased strength in our characters is boss related content anyway. So single target isn't really a big deal. And let's talk about what makes him so good, right? So besides his multipliers and all that, what I've noticed, he gives poison up 2, obviously very strong. He gives resolute 2, obviously also very good as well. But I think the main thing is over here, these two skills. So not only does he increase the damage taken by the enemy through his severe ulcer, which means that this stacks on top of things like deep poisoning too, but he also increases his poison damage dealt, which also once again stacks on top of poison up 2. And then additionally, on exclusive 2, it increases his mastery as well. And then on top of all this, if that wasn't enough, we do have this part where when he stacks Layers of Evil Hex, he reduces cooldowns by 1 turn, and also when stacked to the max, he does pursuant attacks, which means that he is going to have extremely high skill uptime. He's going to be spamming his special 2 especially, because not only does he have his, obviously he can use his special 2 on its own, but even when he uses his special 4, it will pursue an attack using the special 2. And then coupled with the fact that he has cooldown reduction, he's just going to be spamming out attacks really quickly. Besides that, if we take a look at his exclusive 3, we can see that he does do a lot of survivability related effects. That's, I think, I would say the focus of his exclusive 3. Gives his team a bunch of heals, cleanses damage over time, reduces the basic attack damage and skill damage taken by 24% per ally with the control tech deployed. This is, I think, so insanely strong. I don't know what they're thinking. This 24% is such a high value. And then, once again, with this 5 allies of control tech deployed, he gives basically damage immunity, very similar to something like Nicholas' Shelter of Faith buff. That's, I think, one good way to look at it. Essentially another version of that. And when it triggers, he also gives all this cleanse and heal as well. So, ridiculously strong. So PvE, obviously, going to be very amazing. I'm curious whether he will match or maybe outperform Giselle in terms of damage. I have a feeling he might actually outperform Giselle. And also one thing I forgot to mention for PvE is he does trigger poison on the enemy, right? I remember reading it somewhere. If you can find it really quickly. So I think it was on the exclusive 3. Yeah, right here, over here at the very start, where using either of his skills triggers poisons, and up to 6 layers can be triggered. So this is a really big deal. And yeah, for PvE, definitely going to be very strong, not just because of the damage he does, but also because of the survivability he brings, right? And for PvP, I think he is without a doubt going to be finding a spot on the CC team. I'm not really sure who he'll be replacing yet, but maybe he'll just replace someone like Lydia or yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but no question in my mind that he will be used in the CC team somewhere. This can, I mean, you can kind of already tell because they have this character has quite a lot of control related synergies over here. And I think the best part about his kit for PvP is definitely this reduced basic attack damage and skill damage taken. Additionally, the part where he kind of counters Hero Switch does Indomitable, which is a buff once again Elise provides to the team, who is also used in CC team. So during mirror matchups or fights against enemy Elises, this will be very useful. And then he's also immune to control effects and turn meter reduction, which is also a very big thing and annoying thing to face when you fight enemy CC teams, or just PvP teams in general. So yeah, this is a really impressive character, really well-rounded kit. The only limitation I would say for this character is simply that he does single target damage, but as mentioned, this isn't really a big deal. I think he's without a doubt going to be in the meta poison team, and without a doubt he's going to be used in the meta CC team. So should you summon for him? Honestly, like I said, he's limited time hero level. There is potential there, but at the same time, we are very likely getting a actual limited time hero character for the game's anniversary in about 2 weeks time, so 2 weeks after this character releases. And because we're so close to a new limited time hero, I do recommend that you start saving for him instead if you haven't already. CADRIAN you can always obtain from a regular legendary hero banner in the future, but the limited time hero, if you miss it, you have to wait a year before it returns unless you're willing to spend money. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that I'm saying this because I think this is a character I definitely want, but personally I won't be summoning for this, and I would recommend for most players you shouldn't be either. But definitely if you get the opportunity to get him in the future, I think he's going to be really, really strong. So that's all we have for today. Let me know what you guys think about this character in the comments. I think he's going to be really, really hard meta, and I'll see you guys in the next video.